Welcome to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter, the show that takes a look at the events and what's happening all around Putnam County, as well as interviews with local, community, and business leaders. And now, sharing his insights and experience, here's Today in Putnam County with County Mayor Randy Porter.
Thanks for joining us for Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. We got a great show for you this week. My guests this week are Kelly Parkson and Mark Davis. They're organizing a big event. It's going to be called Happy Birthday Jesus Christmas Celebration. It's going to be December the 20th down at our new Putnam County Convention Center. You're also going to learn a lot about Kelly. She's a star in her own nature and got a lot of things that you may not know about her that we're going to talk about in the second half. But the first half is going to be about the new event coming up. Mark's the executive director of the Stone Association of Baptist Churches and a good friend of Mark for a long time. And so we've got a group of churches that are coming together to put on a special event, Kelly. Tell us about the event and how all this came about.
Sure. Well, last year was our inaugural year, and it was just a time that churches came together and said, we really want to plan an event that's just solely focused on Jesus. And the reason that we believe is for the season that we celebrate. And there's actually a group of people from a bunch of different churches in our town that get together and pray weekly just for our community, for people and that may have needs or just various things. And then one night, a lady at that prayer group said, what would you want for your birthday, Jesus? And I just really felt like the Lord just said, I want you all to honor me. And so I just started reaching out to pastors, and I said, how would you feel about this? And if we created an event, and they all just got behind me and jumped in. And what I love about it is churches from a bunch of different denominations, all different sizes. I love that about our community. Our churches really rally behind each other and support each other. And so we started that event last year. It was held in a parking lot
First Baptist Church,
it was
right?
across the street from First Baptist. And we had about 1,500 people come. It was great, and it was freezing cold. So I'm amazed that we even had that many people. But we knew that it would probably grow this year, and we are so thankful to have it at the Putnam County Convention Center. Are you responsible for helping bring that here?
Well, there's a lot of folks that was involved in that.
Well, I'm so thankful for that facility, as we've
Yes.
been over there many times to start the planning, and it's just going to be such a blessing for our community to use for all sorts of events.
It is. We got a state grant that helped pay for about 65-70% of that Representative Ryan Williams and Senator Paul Bailey got us from the state, and so we were able to build a facility, so it's great. And Mark, how'd you get involved in this? Of course, you're involved in everything when it comes to the churches and everything.
Well, a lot, yeah. There's obviously from a missional perspective, there's here in the West, churches are very individualized, and local church, and sometimes we get into a mode where our local church we think is the church, right?
Yeah.
And you live in a society where there's competition and work, right? And so sometimes churches can get into that mode too. And we are doing a concerted effort across multiple planes to try to say, you know what, we're part of the church, right? Jesus has the church.
Right.
And we may be Southern Baptist, or we may be Methodist, or we may be another denomination, non-denominational, but if we're Bible-believing, gospel-centered people, we're the church.
Yeah.
And so we need churches to work together, and that's part of what I do in my everyday life. And so just being able to partner with Kelly and with other churches that are at the table to plan this has been a blessing.
We live in a great community, don't we, where our churches work together and get along.
Mm-hmm.
You were hitting it, Mark, that doesn't matter about the denomination or the non-denominational or associations or whatever. Our churches come together, and I think that's one of the great things about our community, for them to work together like they are on this event. So tell us about the event, Kelly. I think you got a global Christmas experience you're looking at doing at the convention center.
Yeah,
tell us
so
about it.
this year's theme is going to be called Joy to the World. And what we really want is for families to be able to come to this event and obviously have a lot of fun. But they are going to get each family is going to get a passport, and they're going to be able to travel to different countries all over the world and see how they celebrate Christmas. They'll also just find stories about Jesus in each one of these places. And I am super excited about this. I have a heart for the world and missions, and so this is just right up my alley. But we have a bunch of churches who have jumped in to create these booths and to create these experiences. And then on top of just being able to do that, we're going to have free food. There'll be food even at these booths where you might sample some food. Like I'm super excited. There's some local Jamaicans that live in our area.
Oh, wow.
They contacted me and they wanted a Jamaican booth, and they said they were going to have a special Jamaican hot chocolate. So each one of the countries are going to have something that highlights something from that area. But in addition to that, we're going to be giving out free food for families that just want to come eat and enjoy. There'll be what we're calling the Joyful Sound Stage, and there'll be different people from our area that are leading worship music, Christmas music. The Christmas story will be read. We'll have testimonies. We'll be singing Happy Birthday to Jesus, and so you can eat and listen to some great music. We'll have some fun things like a merry-go-round, bounce houses, and other activities for children. It just should be a fun-filled afternoon for these families.
And that's great. The thing I hear the most from parents in our community is, Randy, we need more events that are child-friendly for the kids. They can come and have a good time, and it's either free or mostly free. That's the reason we created the Christmas on the Square, started last year, is to have an event where that can happen. And our community really turns out to do things like that. And I know you got a lot of folks that are volunteering and doing just like we did at Christmas on the Square this year. Had a huge crowd turnout, and I'm sure you're going to have that same thing. But it's great for our community to have those events and reach out to some of those folks, because we've got a lot of new people that's moved in from other places.
It's growing a lot here.
It is growing, it is. And what a way to be able to reach out to those folks and to meet those folks and get them involved in the community. Mark, I hear you're riding a Duncan booth. Is there truth to that? Is that just rumor?
They wanted, that's a big rumor, very big rumor. That's what they wanted me to do. I will not do that.
We keep the water warm.
Nope, not anymore. Last time I was in a Duncan booth, I hurt my knee and I was limping for months. So no, that won't happen.
You decided that you're not going to do that. Right?
It will be unique though, because one of the things that we said at the very outset that happened last year. So second annual this year, and prayerfully more annuals to come, that we have a mechanism for giving, right? We have an umbrella, we have a fund. Stone is managing the Happy Birthday Jesus Fund this year, but it could turn into something where we create a nonprofit just for itself, but we have a fund management system, so it's tax deductible giving toward that. But when you go, you're not gonna see a church being promoted. You're going to see Jesus being promoted, and talked about, proclaimed, I should say, is a better term. And so it's going to be a very unique celebration of multiple churches, and really want the public to understand that churches can work together, right? That we can get together, we are arm in arm, we can be hand in hand, and we can plow forward together.
We're all here for the same reason, aren't we?
Yes. We've even, I was going to say,
ahead.
we've even had some individuals who wanted to give and provide things like, I think you have a Christmas train at your Christmas on the Square. We're going to have a Christmas train as well. And
Big kid.
yes, and so that will be there as well. I wanted to point out one other thing, just because I don't want to forget to say it, but last year we also wanted the focus to be on giving and serving others. And so last year we basically fundraised for our East Tennessee victims that were faced the hurricane and had many needs. And so we were able to send some funds to help those families. And this year, especially since this is really all about children and what we're trying to do for children, we are providing an avenue for people to give and support the Cookeville Pregnancy Center in town, and in addition to the Hope Adoption Center in town. We have ornaments that we sell. We had ornaments last year, we have ornaments this year, and of course people can just give as they wish. But so this year, those are the funds where they'll go to support those. And if you want to buy an ornament, they are for sale at the Hope Adoption Center, which is right there off the main street in Allgood. And then also Hooper Huddleston Horner Funeral Homes off of Washington and Jefferson. They kind of run both sides of that street. You can also purchase them there if you want to go before Christmas and get one now to have it on your tree.
And will you have those for sale at the Christmas
They
event?
will also be at the event.
That's great. We're talking with Kelly Parkson and Mark Davis. they're a big part of putting on the second annual Happy Birthday Jesus celebration. It's going to be at the Putnam County Convention Center on December the 20th. We'll start at noon at 12 o'clock and go all the way through 6 p.m. It's going to be a great event. Kelly, I was noticing you're talking about a global Christmas. You're going to be showing people different countries like Mexico, Turkey, Italy, India, France, Africa, Iceland, Jamaica, how they celebrate Christmas. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, they'll kind of be decorated to represent those different areas, and then they're going to try to play games based on something that would be the culture, or serve a snack or a drink that represents that culture. Like I know, for example, in the country of France, they're going to be playing Christmas carols in French and trying to get kids to guess which ones those are. I think in Mexico there was, which I think is going to be so fun. This church came up with this idea because I have small children, we homeschool, but they're going to have little mustaches, and they're going to get people to pin the mustache on a gentleman, and then each kid can walk away with a mustache too. And I just think it's super fun, all the things that they're coming up with, these churches.
That is great. Mark, something called Peace on Earth, Police Zone, I guess, first responders and law enforcement also involved?
Yeah, that'll be really sweet. We love our first responders, and so that'll be really cool to celebrate them also. There's probably, I look at, there's certain vocations that people are called to, underpaid, underappreciated, and they're part of that. They're part of that group, and so I won't say everything that'll be there, but there's going to be some pretty fascinating things there. That'll be really cool for the kids, especially to see that and to be able to interact with those first responders. Be really cool.
I think they'll even be able to climb inside some of these vehicles. And,
that's a big
and things that are there so that the kids can, almost like the touch the truck.
Yes, I just think about that we put on every year, and they love climbing up in those vehicles. And you never know, shortage of police officers and firemen and paramedics and healthcare and all those kind of things. You get that child thinking about what they want to do, and maybe they'll go into one of those fields one day, because we definitely need them in our community. So everything's free, right?
Everything's free.
Putnam County Convention Center, December the 20th, noon to 6. It's the Happy Birthday Jesus celebration. Going to be a great event. Hope you'll come out and check it out. We got to take a break. Coming up, we're going to talk with Kelly about being in the Miss America pageant a few years ago, and we're going to talk to Mark about world changers that are coming into Putnam County after the first of the year. Stay with us. We'll be back.
And now back to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Hope you're having a great weekend. Our show this week, it's about Christmas at the Convention Center. It's going to be Happy Birthday Jesus. I got Kelly Parkson and Mark Davidson, and we've been talking about that event. It's on December the 20th from noon to 6. It's going to be a great free event for the kids, all kinds of free things from bounce houses and train rides, but it's basically the main focus is celebrating Jesus' birthday, and I appreciate y'all and all the churches for putting that on. Kelly, I was looking up some research information on you to talk about the show. Wow, what a history you have, and the key thing we were laughing about the other night is you got your own Wikipedia page.
Yes, but
Mark,
you can't always believe everything on Wikipedia, though.
No, you can't. But Mark, that's when you've arrived.
Yeah, she's arrived.
You get that Wikipedia. I don't think you and I have one yet. So,
but I hope not.
Kelly, you were born in South Carolina.
I was.
You won the pageant there. You were Miss South Carolina
in 2002.
Went on to Miss America and were in the top 15.
Yes.
What in the world? How did all of that bring you to Cookeville? I mean, South Carolina. Well, let's first talk about the beauty pageant.
Okay.
To me, that would be one of the toughest things that anybody would ever do is competing in one of those. Is it as hard as it looks like it is?
It is a lot of hard work. It's harder than I think people realize. Now, growing up, I never really did pageants. I was more of a sports girl. I was also really into ballet, and so those things were my focus. In fact, I would watch the Miss America pageant, when I was younger, maybe just a few times. It wasn't like one of those things that I lived
You just
lived to
live
do.
for it, yeah.
Yes, but because of my ballet experience, the Miss South Carolina pageant asked if I would come and be an entertainer, really just like a dancer, in between different acts and different things in the actual Miss South Carolina pageant, and I agreed to do it and enjoyed it. But it was there at that experience where I realized, wow, there's a lot of substance to these young ladies, and I loved the community service component, a part of it. Each young lady has a community service initiative that she's passionate about, and so that really, I just thought that was great. And of course, all the scholarship money that was involved, and I just realized, man, these women are intelligent.
They are.
And at the end of dancing that week, there was a gentleman on the state board that came up to my mom and I, and he said, "I've been watching you all week, and one day I think you're going to be Miss South Carolina."
Wow.
And I just laughed at him, and I said, "Oh, Mr. Pete, thank you so much." I said, "But you don't understand. I'm so dyslexic. I can't even write a phone number down straight. There's no way I could get up there and do what these young ladies do." But he planted a seed of encouragement in my heart, and that's the way the Lord works on me often, is he has to plant seeds slowly, and they build for me. But he planted a seed of encouragement, and then I think it was 2 years later, I entered my first local pageant and won that. And I actually competed in the Miss South Carolina pageant 3 times, so I won on my 3rd time. But each one of those times that I competed, I won
built on.
scholarship money
Yeah.
and learned more and more, and it's just such an incredible experience.
So then going on to the Miss America pageant, that had to be huge.
It was incredible. It was huge, and it was about a 3-week experience, even though the pageant was only in itself about 3 days
Yeah.
long. But we traveled all together, all of the contestants in different parts of the United States, really mainly on the East Coast side, and made appearances and visited and spoke in different places, and then we got to compete. But just meeting all those young ladies just from all over the nation that just are, again, passionate about their community service
Yeah.
projects, and it was just really powerful being with those women.
You think about just making it into the top 15 out of all those ladies, that was a huge accomplishment.
I was very proud of it. I like to tell my children, because they went from 15 to 10, that I was number 11. But we really
Sounds good, yeah.
we really don't know. So.
That sounds good. Well, you did something else. The beauty pageant is amazing, but now you did something else that I like to watch on TV. You were on the Amazing Race TV show.
I was.
Oh, that show just, I don't know how those folks do it. And so tell us about that. Is that something that you just decided one day that that's something you wanted to do, or did you
Yes,
get chosen?
I was on season 7, and I think I actually started watching it season 5, just as a viewer sitting in my living room. And I'm a very competitive person, if you get to know me. And I was watching that, and I just was sitting there on my couch like, I can do this. I can win this. And I was just sitting there thinking all of that. And at the time, it was just kind of a good time in my life to apply. There's a whole application process, but you turn in this extensive paper application. You have to also film some videos and turn those in, and then basically CBS gets back to you and lets you know if they choose you. And there was an interview process. They broke it down. I think they kind of had like 3 levels of interviews, and I was able to kind of jump all the way to the last level of interviews, and then I made it.
So multiple countries, right? That you're hopping
We went
around
to 11 different places
11
in
different
6
places.
weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks
to
of
do it.
filming. I think it's on a little bit longer on TV, but it took us 6 weeks.
Is it as difficult as they make it look like it is?
It is very difficult. Now, it was more difficult in ways that I didn't realize when I was on the show. I was preparing physically, like running a lot and wearing a big backpack,
Yeah.
and trying to run. But what I was not prepared for was just like the mental exhaustion. You have to constantly be thinking ahead, like, how can I outdo somebody else? How can I get this ticket first before they get this ticket? My brain doesn't always work that way. And so I was having to like retrain myself to think like, okay, I've got to like jump ahead of these people. And so my brain just had to go nonstop, and I was exhausted.
Placed third though, right?
Placed third, yes.
That's amazing. I I love that show, and to watch those folks compete like that. And you're right, it's a real mental game.
It is.
Of reading the clues and what you're supposed to do. And so after that, you went on. You did TV commercials and print ads, and then I got to ask you, what brought you to Scott Parkinson? I mean, Mark, we're all thinking that, right? Of course, Scott is a pastor here at Stevens Street. That's Kelly's husband. We kid him all the time that he really outkicked his coverage when he found you. But how did that come about?
Well, I grew up in a church in South Carolina called Taylor's First Baptist. And just about the time that I had graduated college, and I was actually just getting ready to compete for that third time at Miss South Carolina, Scott was called to serve on staff at my church as the college and singles pastor. And so he likes to joke and say he was just the fox guarding the hen house.
Yeah, okay.
But he's about 6 years older than me. And the funny thing is, at least in Baptist churches, the way we do it, we have search committees. And one of the ladies on the search committee at that church contacted my mom and said, I just want you to know we're about to hire Kelly's husband. And my mom and I just laughed, and she said, no, I'm telling you, when we interviewed him, I was like, this is Kelly's husband. And so at our church at that time, when somebody was brought in what we call in view of a call, they stand up and they give their testimony in front of church. So I remember him doing that, and I thought, ooh, he's kind of cute, and he loves Jesus. So, and I thought, maybe this lady's right. But there's a funny story with this. So I went down after that Sunday, and he was voted in, and I introduced myself because I'm actually going to be in his ministry. I was now considered one of the singles because I had graduated from college, and I introduced myself, and I made a slightly flirtatious comment. I said, now you better watch out for the older ladies in church because they'll try to set you up with some, the single ladies here. And he just stoned. And he just looked at me and he said, I don't date girls in my church. Ooh. And I turned around and walked away, and I said, challenge accepted. No, but
you knew it was on, man.
Yes, but I really, it's kind of a funny story. From that point on, I was like, oh, I can't like him, or and I would tell my mom, like, he has this policy, and I don't want to break that policy. And we eventually just became really good friends, and I was just a part of the ministry. And of course, I was actually really busy because I went on to win Miss South Carolina, and I was not really at my church at that point a lot because I was speaking in other churches and sharing my testimony. But so Scott and I just got to know each other over the years, and as my pastor then likes to say that the women's prayers in our church were stronger than his policy.
Oh, absolutely. That's good. God put you together.
Yes,
There's no
yes.
doubt. Well, that's great. You've done a lot of things, and I want to talk about the orphanage and your book and all that stuff. I want to get Mark involved, though. We want to talk about World Changers. Group that's coming to Cookville in June that you're bringing here. Tell us about that, so the people that may want to sign up for that.
Yeah, sure. So World Changers is a student mission organization, and it is built mainly for the participant to come. It's built to transform the life of students. There's different kinds of projects. Our project will be 6th grade through adults that can sign up to come. Different church youth groups, different church groups will sign up, and they're actually going to pay $360, somewhere around there, to come and stay here per person, to stay here for a week to do a missions project here in Putnam County. That makes a big difference when I get to the end of the story. So what we do is we bring these churches in. Right now there's 100 people that are signed up to come into Putnam County at the moment. They're going to come in June. And we're working with our awesome mayor and the county to be able to have a pool of homes that we can work on, an application process that's already gone out and receiving applications back. And so we'll have a person who's very skilled at construction go out and take a look at right now, if we have 100 people, we'd be able to work on 10 homes in Putnam County that are in need. Person has to be a homeowner, person has to meet some qualifications and some criteria from the county, financially and things like that. But what we do is we provide the labor for something to be done in the home. We don't do any interior work, it's all exterior. But it could be a new fence, it could be a wheelchair ramp, it could be a new porch, it could be a whole house paint, something that people actually need where the county, right, the municipality will help us provide the materials, and we bring the labor, and the homeowner receives the blessing.
Yeah, and we're looking to get our businesses involved in town. All the a lot of churches involved in
right.
it. Businesses involved, getting a lot of that donated, and we're looking at these folks being senior citizens. If they meet the qualifications to get help on their property taxes at the trustee's office, that's kind of the bottom line. Is we want to make sure that those are the first ones that we're able to work on.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great to think that all those young people coming to Cookeville and working and doing jobs for senior citizens that can't themselves, or they may not be able to afford to hire to get someone to do. And that's just great, Mark. We're excited about that.
So we'll bring those groups in, and we force them to work with other people. So when a church comes in, if they bring, let's say they bring 20 people, I put two people together, right, so that they're not alone. There's nobody ever alone, but they're going to work with other teams, and as much as we can split them up, and they get to work with other people from other churches and what we see happening all the time is established and deep relationships because they're working together all week long. They're at a project all day long. They're staying at the school, right? We're going to be at we're going to be staying at Prescott Middle School. And they've opened their doors to us, and so they're going to be together for 7 days, and worshiping together at night, eating and working together during the day for 7 full days, and they're going to have deep and lasting relationships as they leave. That's what we find, and so it's a really cool way. And for us to come in and be able to do that in the county, all depending on where the houses are located, they also go out and meet neighbors and talk to them, and we find out what more needs are. And so why is that important? Well, it's important for in the moment, but it's also important for organizations like Stone and other churches. I can connect with other churches to say, hey, when these guys go away and they're gone, they're here for a week and they go, we're here. Yeah. And there's a great need around us.
There's a whole list of stuff.
Absolutely. And so we have a mission to our local people that we would call our Jerusalem from the Great Commission, and say we can do this together, and we will go out during all year long and try to help these homeowners as best we can.
Well, that is great. It's a great project coming up. It's going to be in June. If you're interested, you can see the Putnam County Trustee's office or my office at the County Mayor's office. We've got the application you can fill out. If you meet the requirements to get help on your property taxes as a senior citizen at a certain income level, then you would fit into this and be able to sign up, and we'll get as many as we can projects that they can try to get done. Kelly, you're big into orphanage work. You even wrote a book, right?
Yes.
And another thing that amazed me, you have 6 children.
I do.
And 2 of those are adopted,
2 are
right?
adopted.
Tell us a little bit about the book in the couple minutes that we got left.
Sure. It's really through the amazing race that the Lord just opened my eyes to needs all over the world. And one country in particular that just really gripped my heart was India. And I actually, in 2004, or really 2005, going back to India after the amazing race and helping after a horrible tsunami. And just, there were so many orphans because they were displaced from their families because of that. And so that's kind of when my heart started to think, okay, I want to do more to help orphans. And it just took a little bit of time to develop. We adopted a daughter from India through that experience, but the Lord was just like, I want you to even do more. And so my husband and I started a ministry called Loft 218. It stands for the least of these, and 218 comes out of the scripture, really, that the Lord used to call me to do this. And so with that ministry, we are helping place orphans in local believers' homes in India. And so they're Christian believers in India that want to open their homes to orphans. And a lot of these orphans are also rescued out of trafficking. Oh, wow. And so it's really a hard ministry at sometimes, but also just something beautiful to see how the Lord can just restore the lives of these children. But the book that we wrote is really about our adoption journey out of India. And it's called He Knows Her Name. Yeah. And so the story is really to kind of try to help adopting families that are pursuing international adoption, but also specifically India, because that's where our story took place. But it talks a lot about that and also how God started that ministry, Loft 218.
Well, we're proud of you for doing that. You got a great history. I'm even gonna hit Scott up even more. He really outkicked his coverage when he found you for sure. But we're proud y'all are in Cookville. Now do such a good job.
We love it here.
Community. Let's hit one last time. Happy birthday, Jesus celebration. It's going to be at the Putnam County Convention Center, December the 20th, from 12 to 6. Totally free event. Multiple churches and organizations going together to put it on. All kinds of things for the kids, from bounce houses, train rides. All of our emergency personnel, law enforcement will be there, be able to tour a lot of the vehicles and stuff. So we want everybody to come out, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for being on the show. Y'all are doing such great work in our community. I appreciate both of you and wish you the best, and you're always in my prayers.
Thank you.
Mayor.
That's our show. Thanks for joining us this week. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and may God continue to bless Putnam County.
You've been listening to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.